Hi, my name is Hannah Lubar, Manager of Student and Employer Relations in the Career Hub at MATC. And in this video workshop on behalf of the Career Hub, I'm going to share with you, the MATC community, a few general tips and guidelines regarding use of LinkedIn. So in this presentation, we will cover the key components of a LinkedIn profile and why they're important, some best practices for building that profile, and just begin to learn tools for actually using and engaging with LinkedIn once you have your profile set up. I want to note that at the end, I'll showcase how you can pursue continued support with your LinkedIn or all other things internship and career related, like your resume, interview prep, and everything to help set you up for success in career with the Career Hub through one-on-one appointments with our employment specialists. And so I say that now to say there's going to be a lot of general guidance on LinkedIn in this presentation. LinkedIn features change often, and every situation in your job search is different. And so know that while we'll cover kind of the basics of getting started, you can meet one-on-one with someone. We'll make sure you know how to do that so that you can work on your individual profile for feedback and to set you up for success in that. Okay, so why create and use a LinkedIn profile? Well, what is it if you're not sure? It's a social marketing and a recruiting database. And so both job searching candidates and employers utilize LinkedIn. You'll hear me mention a couple times through this presentation that there are ways to help your profile get found or be seen by employers. So employers use it to advertise their positions and to source and learn about candidates. So they will search for certain keywords or candidates or profiles that match what they're looking for. And so it's a great kind of perspective to have to help your profile stand out and match those searches. You can also use LinkedIn to develop your professional online presence, emphasis on professional. A lot of us have other types of social media accounts or profiles. This is your most professional version of that so that you can market yourself to potential employers and to your network. Okay, so starting with once you create a LinkedIn account, like you would with creating any other sort of social media account, set it up with your email, you'll create a password and make sure that you set all of your privacy settings as you would like to. Then you're ready to build your profile. So necessities include having a professional photo. Okay, so making sure that you are dressed for it. I think to say, think of it as dressing for an interview in your industry. So a little bit more formal than you would for maybe a regular work day. Have a neutral background, make sure it's a nice headshot so that you are in view, and look positive, right? Some research shows that when you have that photo and it's a professional looking photo, that could generate more views and connections. You also will have a banner or a background image similar to like a cover photo. There is a LinkedIn standard option, which is totally okay. But you can also consider a custom background related to your industry or use an online tool like Canva to create something that relates to your targeted professional industry. As a resource, the Career Hub at downtown in Mequon has photo booths during open office hours for you to come and take a professional headshot. So I just have a snapshot of my profile photo and my banner image. So we talked about kind of custom banners related to your industry. I work in higher education, and so I have an background image of the campus where I work, but again, that is totally optional. You can use the standard banner as well. Your headline is really, really important. That's the little kind of caption right underneath your photo as a preview of your work, your goals, your industry, to kind of summarize the profile that's ahead. So you want to make sure you describe your skills, your current or desired job or field, your area of study if you're currently a student, and it's really important to include keywords. I mentioned at the beginning that employers use LinkedIn to source candidates. As they type in keywords for specific functions or needs that they're looking for, Whatever keywords are in your headline are some of the top factors that will help raise your profile in that search. And so some examples here. You can see student at MATC, business student, seeking an internship. Sorry, that one's a little cut off. But those three are kind of really basic previews of an individual's profile. It's a really good idea to get more specific than that so that those keywords can help you stand out and be a match, right? And so on the right-hand side for each one, and I will say in Cite that I used MATC's AI tool, Google Gemini, to help me get started and kind of typed in a student profile. And then it helped generate some examples, and then I refined from there for these headlines. So MATC student developing skills in data analysis and information systems. So I dig into the specific skills that will be represented on my profile and my experience. You can say aspiring fill in the blank, aspiring financial planner, building client relationships. So that's saying something maybe that I'm passionate about in my work, business student at MATC. So great to say business student, but give a little bit more about, that can mean a lot of things. That can mean that you're interested in lots of different areas of business. So drill down a little bit more specifically. Similarly, graphic design student, wonderful. Say a little bit more about what you as a graphic design student are focusing on or really interested in or passionate about. Building visual brands, and then I note my goal, open to internship opportunities. So that's right there. There's also a function where you can make right on your photo, say open to work. And so then you'd have a little banner on your profile photo to show that you are seeking an internship or a job and that you're actively using LinkedIn for that purpose. Okay, now the About Me summary, which can feel really daunting. And I will say I'm going to showcase one way to kind of storytell and narrate your About Me, but there are lots of different approaches to this. You want to keep it pretty concise. The example that I have is definitely kind of mid-length, but let's just start first with kind of what to consider. Describe your professional story, your experiences, your skills and interests, what you would like to connect with others about. So you can literally end with a sentence, connect with me to discuss, or connect with me if you are also interested in fill in the blank. So kind of a call to action for people who might come across your profile. And then it's really important and valuable to include your professional goals because, again, this is a networking tool. And so a big part of networking is making sure that others know what your goals are and what you're pursuing so that they can kind of think of you and connect with you around that. And then, of course, include those keywords. When employers use LinkedIn to source those profiles and source candidates, anywhere on your profile that the keywords are, so in your experience, in your headline, in your About Me, in your skills section, which we'll talk about later, it will help your profile show up in that search. So here's an example. Opening with, I won't read this all, I'll just pause so that you can take a look at it. As a passionate graphic design student at MATC, and then kind of what they care about and what they're working on. My hands-on experience includes with some background information on projects, courses, and then my career goal is to become a versatile graphic designer, more about the specific areas they're interested in. I'm actively seeking graphic design internships where I can contribute my creativity, learn from experienced professionals, and make a tangible impact. And so the formula that I mentioned on the previous page suggested starting with where you are right now as an introduction, nodding back to past experience and skills gained that kind of brought you to where you are, and then ending with looking ahead and connecting on your future goals. Okay. Next, on your profile, you will have a section to build your work experience. I won't spend a ton of time on this because there's a lot of overlap with writing your resume. You're going to list your current and past jobs, and then mirror, just like in your resume, bullet point your key roles, contributions. You could also on LinkedIn keep it really concise and do shorter paragraphs. Just like with resume writing, use those action verbs and emphasize accomplishments that you made. And of course, skills, skills, skills. What skills will transfer over? Even if it's a job that feels not directly related to the industry that you're targeting, think about those transferable skills. When you are ready to add a new experience, it will look like the snapshot on my slide here. Job title at MATC, and then there's a plus sign to add a new one, and then a little pen to edit the existing one. Okay, beyond work experience, you can also add licenses, certifications, projects, courses, um, and additional experiences like volunteer experience, publications, honors, awards, languages, organizations that you're a part of. And so you can really showcase kind of the holistic, well-rounded version of your skill set and who you are. And to add any of these, you would just click Add Profile section as highlighted on the screen here. Okay, and then of course you'll also include your education. So that's found in the core section when you go to add a new profile section as shown on the previous screen. So add profile section, in core you'll have education, okay? Start with your current or highest degree. You will have an option to kind of summarize involvement, projects, and then you will also, so here's education, so I just put up a snapshot of what that looks like, and it will have all the fields for you to fill out: your school, your degree, your start and end date, and then again there'll be a little field to add some summary, description, more information. Licenses and certifications will be another option. Include certifications or licensure relevant to your industry. So maybe you are CPR certified, but you are not going into anything related to, childcare or the medical field, where that would be kind of a requirement or a need. And so maybe that's not one that you would need to include, right? So be thoughtful about which ones you're including. And then there's also a section where you can add a bunch of skills that relate to the jobs that you're targeting, and you can also include where you develop those skills by drawing from your experience list. Okay, and now I'm going to touch on using and engaging with LinkedIn, but here's where I really want to emphasize. This is where I just want you to think about getting started with this once your profile is built, kind of how to keep up with LinkedIn, actually utilize it, right, as a candidate and as a networker. But know that you can always come talk with an employment specialist, sit down with one of us as you're thinking about using LinkedIn in a deeper way. But things you can think about doing are following companies, joining groups, make connections with people you meet in your courses, on campus, at career fairs and other similar events. And then from those companies that you follow, the groups, from your connections, share or repost industry relevant content with your thoughts. You can engage and comment on posts, keep up with your contacts. Okay, and so just highlighting to find a company. So if you're like, yeah, I love the idea of following companies to get more of their content and maybe engage there for companies that I'm targeting, just type the name of the company in that search bar, and then you'll have a follow button. And then to join groups, I just showcased a snapshot on the left-hand pane. You can click groups, and then you can start to search for groups that align with your interests in your profile. Okay, and so what about actually the networking part, connecting with other individuals and messaging? Who do I reach out to? What do I say, when, and how? You can connect with alumni from your program, from MATC. If you go to the MATC LinkedIn page, there's a tab that says alumni, and you can start to search within that base. Recruiters in your target industry, connections you make, again, through school, career fairs, projects, community events. Okay, and then as far as what to say, again, this is a really great topic to kind of sit down and brainstorm with someone if it's something you want to challenge yourself with. But one thing I want to emphasize is that when you do add a new connection or reach out to someone, and you've probably heard this before if you've had any background on LinkedIn, is that it's a good idea to include a message to say how you know the person or met them or why you're connecting with them. The same kind of goes with reaching out to someone. So when you're messaging someone, maybe you find someone in the alumni network. Make sure you share why you're reaching out to them, what stood out about their profile, about what they're studying, does it match yours and your interests, and you can ask a question if you're looking to learn some advice or insight from them. As far as connecting with recruiters, you can utilize LinkedIn to professionally follow up within a job application process. So after submitting an application, or if you have a question on an application, reiterating your interest and that you're excited to stay tuned for next steps in the process, or ask a question about the process if you have one. What you don't want to do is directly ask a networking contact or recruiter or any of these kind of suggestions that I mentioned directly for a job, right? Networking is meant to help you learn and to discuss and share your goals with others, okay? So to end, again, great idea to connect one-on-one as far as building your profile or using LinkedIn. All the information is here on this slide, so you can quick pause it regarding scheduling with an employment specialist and where we are located in the career hubs across MATC as a college. Thanks for your time, and we hope to work with you soon.